Hello everyone and welcome back to another witchy wedding planning video. These go up every Tuesday for several months coming, and I've already got a few already uploaded, so if you haven't checked those out, please watch those if you are trying to get into wedding planning and you're a witch and you want to add more witchcraft into it. I'm trying to give you some ideas. That being said, today we are talking about picking a theme. Now this is by no means an extensive list, but I've kind of narrowed it down into just a few categories to start getting the gears rolling for planning a witchy wedding. This is not for planning just a typical wedding. Again, we're focusing specifically on trying to add witchcraft into it. Number one, this one's really easy, and a lot of us already fall into this category, but a Halloween wedding. We love Halloween as witches. Typically all of us love the spooky season. We love all of the decor. We don't care that it's kind of commercialized. We love it. We love when you walk into a store and you see the skeletons and the zombies and the mummies and the bats and all of that good jazz. It just enlightens our souls, let alone the fact that we are actually witchcraft people and we do the things and the stuffs. We still love it, even though it's not actually probably accurate at all. We still love it. So naturally, why not have a Halloween wedding? A lot of people do that, even if they're not witches. They love to throw a Halloween wedding. And you can have it as much Halloween or as subtle as you want. If you're a broom closeted witch and you want to still incorporate a lot of the aesthetic, you could totally say it's a Halloween wedding. We're doing kind of a witch vibe with our Halloween wedding, and people won't really think much of it because a lot of people are doing those nowadays. They'll have different themes. I've seen vampire, I've seen Tim Burton, like a few of his different movies, Beetlejuice. I've seen Nightmare Before Christmas and like Corpse Bride. Like people pull from Halloween things. So being like, we're having a witchy Halloween wedding, people aren't gonna think twice about it. You can wear your witch's hat when you get married, and you could have, you know, brooms that your bridesmaids may have, you know, blessed and charged, but the majority of your guests will have no idea. Or even your own bouquet, have a broom instead of flowers, you know, so on and so forth. You can have candles and crystals and all of the things and just be like, it's part of the theme, it's part of the aesthetic. No one's gonna think twice. Next, this is the one that we're doing, which we've just labeled it as rustic, because if you look up rustic, it typically brings the things that we're wanting. So for us, rustic is like kind of country-ish and just kind of backwoodsy vibes, but not completely. And this way we can incorporate a lot of nature without people being like, what, why? Like, it works for us. So when we're talking rustic, like our cake topper is wooden. Our like little goblet cup things are wood. We have a lot of wood things, and our center table has a slice of wood, and then we have an LED like birch tree candle that'll be going on it. And so for us, it very much has this like woodsy, rusticy vibe, which works great for us. Again, very good if you're doing subtle paganism, which is what we're doing. Really, we're the only ones in our families that are like actively practicing, and very few people really know about it. So it's just our subtle way of just like slipping in some witchcraft. It's also a lot of like the greenery and stuff. Like for us, we're getting married in a garden, so like it works fabulous for us because it's like nature. But other people will be like, oh, that's just kind of pretty, and like kind of works for a wedding. You can also do traditional weddings, not in like the traditional like getting married in a church per se, but like whatever tradition you are a part of. So when I was looking up witchy weddings, this was the things I was finding. So you find very traditional ceremonial magic. So think Wicca, you're gonna have circle casting, you're gonna have altars where people are manning like an elemental altar in the east and the west and the north and the south and maybe even in the center. You're gonna have a beautiful spiral that the party walks up, and then in the center of the spiral is the altar. And I've seen one where like the groom lays out flower petals in front of his bride as she walks all the way up the spiral. It's beautiful. I don't know that I would ever do that, but I love the concept. And like I've seen others where it's very like Viking oriented, and you've got like the bonfire and everyone's dressed in kind of semi-traditional-ish Viking gear, you know, like a lot of the pagan community in that section is like, oh, it's just cosplay, but like it's pretty, it works. And also, you know, like jumping over a sword, jumping over a broom, whatever. It can be very elaborate, lots of drumming and people dressed in cloaks and things. Traditional in that sense. Just keep in mind, your guests, if they're not in the community, are going to be real confused. So if you're ready for that conversation, totally do it. And like, if you're welcome and comfortable to record it, please do. Those are fun to watch. I would never have the confidence to do that because again, my family is not on the spectrum at all, but like it's fun to watch those. And lastly, you could theme it around a Sabbath. A few people have done theirs around like Beltane, so they'll have a lot of flowers, especially what's blooming in your area. Not necessarily like, oh, I want roses, but they don't bloom until like June or July, August time. Because right now, like, at least here, they're barely getting their leaves for the year. So like, it's not feasible to be like, we're gonna have the fresh flowers. They're gonna come from somewhere else or in a greenhouse or something. And so you might choose more like the little, whatever's flowering in your area. We got dandelions and we got the little purple doodados. I don't know what they're called. I wanna say they're bluebells, but I don't think they are. But the little purple flowers that pop up everywhere here in Utah in the spring. You might use those instead of, again, flowers that bloom later in the year. Or you might include like a maple because it's Beltane. Or you might have like a bonfire for the summer solstice and a lot of like sunflowers and yellows and all of the summery colors. Or getting married on a beach because, you know, the balance at summer solstice, yeah. You know, things like that. A lot of people will kind of, or again, Samhain, Halloween, centered around that, and like the ancestors coming and blessing, and like the two ancestor trees are now coming together to create a new branch of this massive tree. By no means is this an extensive list, but this is just few ideas of some theming that you could do for your wedding. You don't necessarily need a theme, but it definitely does help, especially if you are planning your decor and like all of the things. Centers for the tables, the tablecloths, your venue maybe to be a part of your theme. Like for us, it was totally a part of it. Your cake topper, your garb, whether it's a beautiful wedding dress or if you're gonna dress more, again, like the Viking style or the more traditional Wicca, like the flowy robes and all of that jazz. Or if you're gonna go way more casual and like jeans and a t-shirt, just show up, guys. I've seen a lot of weddings like that too. So like you've got a variety of options, but this is just to get the gears going for what your theme might be. Like I said, ours is rustic. We picked that pretty early on and we've planned everything around that theme. Everything kind of goes back to naturey, rustic, woodsy, whatever label you want to throw on there. It all falls into that category. So anyways, I would love to hear from you guys what your theme is for your wedding that you've already had, or if you're planning your wedding, what is your theme going to be? And of course, if you have any other ideas, please leave them in the comments down below so other people can get ideas as well. If you like what I do on this channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon. You get additional content every week. And of course, you're supporting so that I can do this more often. So thank you so much. If you don't have the funds, that's fine. Liking, commenting, and subscribing is free and does make a huge difference as well. So please do all of the things and I will see you all tomorrow.